Welcome to the Firecast, the official podcast of the Sunshine Coast Fire Football Club. I'm joined here today with first team manager Daniel DK Carew. DK, thanks for joining us.
No problem, mate.
First time on the podcast.
Yeah.
First time for us, so let's just try and keep it PG.
Yeah, PG, okay. No swearing. Okay.
I'd like to go back to the 2021 season. It was your first year as manager of the football club. Upon reflection, how would you assess the season?
Oh, I think I was probably a lot more ambitious going into the season than after the season finished. Obviously, a lot of time to reflect. I think going into it was very, I thought I could do a lot better. I think the squad we had could do a lot better, especially positional wise. I think the football itself, I think it wasn't bad. I think we definitely bought a different style of football, a different brand, and I thought it was more entertaining. But obviously, on reflection, obviously you need to win games. You need to avoid relegation. That was the first season of being relegation, so I think there was a lot more pressure that maybe I went into it not expecting it to get to that point. But I think overall, you look at the back end of the season, same players were able to do results. I don't know how many games we went unbeaten, but we went on a decent run coming after the COVID. We stopped in COVID and then came back in. We had Brisbane City, the first one up. It was kind of like a little hit and miss game. We could just see where we're at, and we put on a decent display. Talking to Matt Smith after that, he was very impressed with the changes that we'd made going forward. So it gave us a really good platform for the back end of the season to really go on the run that we went on, and end it the way we did wasn't the best, but you look at injuries, you look at fatigue, and we pretty much started with the same team for the last back end of the season. And we got points, and we got big points and took some scalps, and we avoided relegation, and we finished. I guess you look at the season now and you go, it was, we finished strong, finished well, but I guess you look back at my expectations, the group were expected to be in the top four playing finals football, so it was disappointing that we did make it that far. But in saying that, you live, you learn, and I get to fight another day, and I think, with that in mind, it's given me, more tools, so. That's good,
Based on that, obviously what you just said about last season, obviously we had a fantastic run at the end. What is something that you've learned from maybe that second half of the season, or maybe the whole season, that you're going to try and implement next year? What's something that you think that experience of last year is going to help us moving forward for next season?
Yeah, well, I think for me there's a couple of turning points. I mean, behind the scenes, from myself personally and the group that we were with, obviously we had a discussion at that halfway mark where, we say halfway, but, at a certain point in time where I think me personally in my life, a few things kind of came in kind of a lot more clearer perspective. And I kind of went, what, if we're gonna get relegated or we're gonna go out, I want to go out the way that, I came into it rather than what I was doing. I was trying to please a lot of players, I would say, or I was trying to, I think, have a group and trying to get all the players I thought to play in a system that maybe just didn't suit us.
Yeah.
So, going back to my old philosophies and going back to what I actually believed in as a coach, and just backing myself. And I think doing that then obviously created results. Obviously players had to just bite the bullet, had to buy into a system that I believe was going to work, I could coach, that I felt was successful. And it worked, we could easily have said it the other way around. It could have gone down to flames and could have been relegated and all that and gone, well, but I think I was happy with that. I think I was at more peace with it, knowing that, okay, it's on me, and I think that's the whole crux of it. I don't want to put it on the players to say it's their fault. Yeah. Ultimately, as a manager, it's you're the buck stops with you. So I think that was the best thing I took from it, and that's probably something I'm going to more or less bring into to from this year that I've learned is that sort of being honest with players as well, as much as it can be brutal. It was definitely something that was, I think, the turning point. Yeah.
Talking about next season, I know you've been very active and you've been very organised in the off season. I think I'm right in saying that you've had pretty much all your business done since the first or second week of December. Everyone's locked in, all the contracts have signed. Obviously we've still got to announce some signings, but everything's pretty much done. We've had players leave the club in the first team and in the 23s. how do you think that's going to help moving forward, having all of those players locked in? You've got your squad, you're happy with your squad, and also how does this squad this year compared to the season just gone?
Yeah, well, I think if anyone knows me, I'm very meticulous with organisation. I think some of the players already, they'll tell you that the schedule that's gone out, the calendar's confusing. Don't know how to download it, don't know how to, but if someone like me can get on that tech train, then these kids should be able to get on the tech train. So I spent hours on getting that organised and just taking information in from obviously physios and what their perspectives were on how our training should be and all this. So it's not just getting the players in, it was the whole thing behind the scenes on what we wanted, what we needed from last year, to make us better, not just more professional. Which is probably one of the big things with me is, giving an environment for a player to be successful, is giving them a bit of love and giving them some, good experiences with having nice things and being around a professional sort of setup, even though we're not, and I think that for me is important. Comparing squads, it's obviously politically, you've got to answer that maybe a bit different. But
on the spot.
Yeah. Look, I think... Well, look, you look at last year and how we ended. That squad had all the potential to do very well in a QPL team. So I think I look back at it and I go, I think I picked good players. I don't think that I did badly with recruitment. I think it was just the way that I put it out there. And I think that's where you got to take responsibility, because at the end of the day, that's on me. I picked the players for a system, actually, that I wanted to play, and I didn't play it.
Yeah.
So that's my fault. So it's not necessarily the players, I think, as much as some maybe would disagree, they didn't get the opportunity, or that's football and that's life. But you look at the signings, and I think names, 100%, we're at definitely at a higher level for sure. But we're also planning for something a lot bigger than that, And I have to have that in the back of my mind, secretly, knowing that we're not just competing for a QPL title now. We've got to compete to progress further. So for me, it was all key to make sure we got a high caliber of player, but also high caliber mentality. I think that's probably the biggest thing I've done over the off season is vetting the player and vetting them in the sense of knowing what their mentality is like. And that was more important for me. Listening to a lot of people I respect as well in the football community, and just taking bits from each person and going, okay, what can I do better, and what can I add to the table. So I think, definitely we've added some definite quality. I think people look at the signings and go, wow, that's a good player. That's someone who I'd like to watch to play.
Yeah,
I agree. At the end of the day, I'm a football fan just like anyone else. So entertainment is the main factor, but knowing that we need to win games, we need to win things. For us to go forward, we have to win. So, the calibre of player, I would say, is better. Definitely, of course. I don't think that's hands down, but I think results will tell, and I think that's the be-all and end-all is I can have the best team on the park, but results are what going to, I guess, justify this team.
What's your ambitions then for 2022?
Win everything, always. I think someone, a coach, Kev Evans said to me once, this is a long time ago, that he always went into a season saying that they wanted to be undefeated. And that can be arrogant or seen as arrogance, but I think it's one of the best things, giving a player or a team as such the ability to say, I think we're good enough to go unbeaten. You never believe you're going to go unbeaten. Let's be completely honest. I think most coaches would. It's the dream. I think that's the dream for every player. I mean, going up through an undefeated season is fantastic, and I think you have to set your benchmark that high. And that's probably the one thing I took from him was that not the arrogance, but the belief that you got to put that on there. If you don't put that on there, then everything else is shortcomings. So for us, it's always you want to reach for the top. You want to be unbeaten. You want to emulate Brisbane City. You want to try and do the same things and strive for that greatness. And each step, you just assess it as it comes. So, but we have to be playing finals football, pure and simple. I don't think with a team that we've assembled that we can really sit here and say that we need to. We just need to avoid relegation. I think that's out of the picture. I think we need to push on and go for it. I think I've come here with ambitions to win things and put them back, I guess, where they should be. So that's where the ambition's always going to be.
What can people expect from the Fire first team next year in terms of the style of play? Is it going to change a little bit? Is it going to be the same? How are you looking to play?
Like, obviously, I have my philosophy and how I believe to play, but I've got to obviously tinker, you know, depending on games, people that we're playing. There's some really good teams coming into the competition. So, you know, there's going to be times where maybe our philosophy of playing and getting on the ball and being attractive and you know, creating lots of opportunities and being very expressive and experimental is sometimes going to have to maybe put on hold to get results. And I learnt that from last year. You know, there was games in there where we were playing teams that were nowhere near our level, I guess, with ability. But you have to abandon it sometimes to go get points. And if you get 1, 2, 3-0 up, then you can maybe be a bit more expressive. But I think I've learnt that I've got to be able to adjust. You know, I think technically and tactically I'm learning more and more, and I've always been a coach that takes risks. I've never been one to shy away from changing in a half-time systems, you know, and I think you have to be able to do that to be successful. So for me, like, obviously our style is to play. You know, we want to play and we want to entertain people because I think football's an entertainment sport. You know, we need to get crowds, we need to get people down to the games, and you're not going to do that sitting everyone behind the ball and just kicking it. So for me, I want to show that football on the Sunshine Coast, we can play, we have the players and the calibre to be able to play and compete. But there's going to be times where things change. But that's the idea, I guess. You know, I want to have fun and I want to enjoy it, and I want everyone else to enjoy it around it. So, yeah, you need to stick to your guns and then take it as it comes.